The human brain is a marvel of evolutionary engineering, masterfully designed to keep our deepest vulnerabilities hidden beneath a veneer of social composure. When a man begins to fall in love, his conscious mind goes to great lengths to play it cool, project confidence, and maintain a sense of controlled detachment. However, the human nervous system has its own agenda. Long before a man is ready to vocalize his feelings, and often before he has even admitted them to himself, his underlying biochemistry begins to betray him. The sudden, overwhelming surge of dopamine, phenylethylamine, and norepinephrine triggered by deep attraction acts, like a high-voltage current surging through a delicate circuit board. The result is a series of fascinating, involuntary behavioral glitches. These glitches are not smooth, calculated gestures of romance. Rather, they are erratic, sudden, and highly specific physiological malfunctions. They represent the exact moments where his primal, subconscious drive to connect with you completely overrides his brain's logical processing power. From sudden cognitive freezes, mid-sentence to physical misalignments of his posture, these behavioral anomalies are the ultimate indicators of attraction because they are mathematically impossible to consciously fake. When a man is falling, his brain's bandwidth becomes so entirely consumed by your presence that his executive functioning temporarily lacks the resources to run its normal, everyday programs. Understanding these subtle, systemic errors in his behavior allows you to look past the calculated persona he presents to the world and read his true, underlying emotional state. When you know what to look for, his awkward pauses, clumsy spatial errors, and nervous physical habits cease to look like mere eccentricities. Instead, they reveal themselves as the silent, mechanical responses of a nervous system that is actively restructuring its priorities around you. By observing these 15 distinct behavioral glitches, you gain a front-row seat to the chaotic, beautiful process of a mind relinquishing control and quietly falling in love. The mid-sentence vocabulary freeze. When a man is falling for you, his brain's prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for logical thought and speech production, gets temporarily hijacked by a sudden rush of dopamine and norepinephrine. This neurochemical surge causes a literal mental bottleneck. Mid-sentence, his train of thought will completely derail, leaving him staring at you as his mind scrambles to find a basic word. It looks exactly like a computer program freezing under a heavy processing load. He might pause, snap his fingers, or stumble over simple vocabulary that he uses every single day. This occurs because his subconscious focus has shifted entirely from the intellectual content of his words to the intense emotional awareness of your presence. The sheer effort of trying to appear composed while experiencing a profound attraction overloads his cognitive bandwidth, resulting in this charming, involuntary verbal glitch, the unconscious mirroring delay. Behavioral mirroring is a well-known sign of rapport, but when deep attraction is taking hold, the brain executes this command with a noticeable, lagging delay. If you take a sip of your drink, cross your legs, or lean back, his nervous system will feel an overwhelming urge to match your physical state to establish a subconscious bond. However, because he is trying to actively control his behavior and play it cool, his conscious mind tries to put on the brakes. The result is a highly specific glitch, where his body mimics your exact gesture roughly 3 to 5 seconds after you make it. This delay reveals the silent battle happening beneath the surface. His instinctual drive to align with you is actively overriding his conscious efforts to remain detached and indifferent, leaving a trail of perfectly delayed physical echoes. The sudden posture reset. The moment you enter his line of sight or redirect your attention toward him, his brain registers a high-stakes social cue, triggering an instant involuntary physical correction. This is the posture reset. He will instantly straighten his spine, pull his shoulders back, and expand his chest. It is an evolutionary reflex designed to make him appear larger, healthier, and more capable. But the glitch lies in the jarring speed of the transition. It often happens so fast that it looks like a sudden muscle spasm or an abrupt jerk. If he was slouching comfortably a millisecond prior, the sudden rigidity of his frame is a dead giveaway that your gaze has suddenly elevated his physiological arousal, forcing his body to optimize its presentation in real time to gain your subconscious approval. The micro-flinch of protective reflexes. When a man is falling for someone, his protective instincts activate on a deeply primal level. Even in completely safe modern environments, this manifests as a subtle, involuntary micro-flinch whenever there is a sudden noise, a passing vehicle, or a crowd of people moving near you. his body will slightly twitch or adjust its angle to place itself between you and the perceived hazard. This movement is so rapid and instinctual that he is usually completely unaware he did it. The glitch looks like a momentary physical stutter, a half step forward or a quick, protective reach of his arm that he immediately aborts once his conscious mind realizes there is no actual danger. It is a powerful indicator that his nervous system has silently catalogued you as someone of immense value. The double take eye contact glitch. Maintaining eye contact with someone you are falling for triggers an intense spike in physiological arousal, causing his pupils to dilate and his heart rate to climb. To cope with this overwhelming sensation, his brain initiates a visual glitch known as the double take. He will look at you, catch your eye, and immediately look away to break the tension and regulate his nervous system. However, the magnetic pull of attraction is too strong, and within a split second, his gaze will snap right back to your face before he can stop himself. This rapid-fire sequence of look away and look back again appears highly erratic and mechanical. It clearly demonstrates that his logical brain cannot override the sheer chemical necessity of keeping you in his visual field, despite his best efforts to look away. The involuntary pitch shift. When a man is falling for someone, his nervous system undergoes a profound shift that directly alters his vocal cords. Under the influence of elevated cortisol and excitement, his voice will exhibit a highly specific glitch, where his vocal pitch suddenly fluctuates outside of his normal speaking range. He may unconsciously raise his pitch when trying to sound more approachable, open and non-threatening, or his voice might suddenly drop into an unusually deep, gravelly register to assert masculine presence. The glitch occurs when these two instincts clash mid-conversation, resulting in sudden, unpredictable cracks or a rapid shift in tone within a single sentence. This vocal instability is a direct reflection of his physiological arousal, showing that his emotional state is physically bypassing his ability to maintain a steady, controlled speaking voice. The hyperfocus spatial blindness. This behavioral glitch is a literal manifestation of tunnel vision. When a man is highly attracted to you, his brain prioritizes your presence to such an extreme degree that his peripheral awareness and spatial orientation completely shut down. If you walk into a room, or if he is walking beside you, he will become so hyper-focused on your movements, expressions, and words that he will completely fail to register his physical surroundings. He might trip over a curb, bump into a doorway, knock over a glass, or walk directly into a signpost. It looks like a temporary loss of motor coordination or clumsy spatial awareness. In reality, his cognitive resources are entirely occupied by processing your proximity, leaving absolutely zero mental bandwidth for basic spatial navigation. The premature departure hesitation, the moment of saying goodbye triggers a massive internal conflict that manifests as a physical lag at the end of an interaction. His conscious mind knows it is time to leave, but his emotional drive wants to prolong the contact. This results in a glitch, where his body begins to move away, while his attention remains anchored to you. He might turn his torso toward the exit, take a step back, but then completely freeze in place, pivoting back to ask an unnecessary question or make an irrelevant comment. This halting, forward and back, motion makes his departure look incredibly awkward and disjointed. The physical hesitation proves that his subconscious mind is actively dragging its feet, refusing to disengage from your presence despite the logical cues that the meeting has ended. The unprompted object fidgeting. When attraction levels spike, the body is flooded with an excess of nervous energy that must find a physical outlet. This creates a highly visible fidgeting glitch, involving whatever random object is closest to his hands. He will begin to spin his keys, slide his phone back and forth, tear the label off a beverage bottle, or trace the rim of his glass with intense focus. He is usually completely unaware of what his hands are doing. If you look closely, the movement is often rhythmic and rapid, acting as a physical release valve for the high-voltage tension running through his nervous system. It is a clear sign that your presence has disrupted his baseline calm, forcing his body to manually channel and dissipate the intense nervous excitement. The foot direction realignment. Our feet are the most honest part of our body language because we rarely think about controlling them. This creates a silent, highly consistent structural glitch. Even if his upper body is turned toward a group, or if he is actively engaged in a conversation with someone else, his feet will unconsciously pivot to point directly at you. If you observe his posture, it will look strangely twisted or misaligned, His shoulders might face one direction to polite society, but his lower body and feet are locked onto your position, like a compass needle pointing north. This misalignment is a physical glitch caused by his primal tracking system, which silently dictates that his exit path, interest, and protective focus are entirely dedicated to where you are standing. The brief narrative disorientation. This cognitive glitch occurs when his short-term memory and narrative flow are temporarily disrupted by your direct engagement. If you suddenly ask him a simple question while he is telling a story, or if you make sudden, intense eye contact, his brain's working memory will experience a brief, chaotic reset. He will completely lose his place in the conversation, look confused and ask, "Wait, what was I just saying?" It looks as though his internal hard drive momentarily crashed. This disorientation happens because your unexpected focus on him triggers a rapid spike in adrenaline, which temporarily impairs his retrieval of immediate, non-essential narrative data. He becomes so utterly consumed by the fact that you are looking at and listening to him that the actual words he was speaking are instantly deleted from his active mental queue. The phantom phone check. When his nervous system is overwhelmed by the tension of being near you, his brain will search for a habitual comfort reflex to temporarily ground him and ease the pressure. This leads to the phantom phone check. He will reach into his pocket, pull out his phone, stare intensely at the blank screen, and then immediately put it back away, only to repeat the exact same sequence a minute later. He isn't actually reading notifications, checking the time, or texting anyone. His brain is simply executing a highly practiced muscle memory to mask his vulnerability. This erratic, repetitive loop is a classic modern behavioral glitch. It serves as a brief, psychological shield to give him a momentary break from the intensity of your presence and his own escalating feelings. The automatic distance closing. This physical glitch is governed by the brain's instinct to minimize spatial boundaries with a high-value target. Without making a conscious decision to move closer to you, his body will execute a series of tiny, incremental adjustments to close the gap. He will lean in slightly when you speak, slide his chair a fraction of an inch closer, or take half steps toward you during a casual walk. If you pay attention, it looks like a slow-motion magnetic pull. The glitch becomes obvious when he suddenly realizes how close he has actually gotten. He might abruptly stiffen, take a quick step back to respect your personal space, and look slightly startled by his own proximity. His primal desire to be close to you continuously overrides his conscious awareness of standard physical boundaries, the uncontrolled micro-smirk. When a man is falling for someone, the sheer joy of seeing them or hearing their voice triggers a spontaneous release of endorphins that forces a smile to his face. However, because he is actively trying to hide the depth of his attraction and maintain a cool, mysterious exterior, he will try to suppress it. This clash of desires results in a fascinating facial glitch, the micro-smirk. One corner of his mouth will twitch upward, or his lips will tightly compress as he tries to fight the rising grin. It looks like a brief muscle tic, the constant, rapid battle between his automatic emotional response, forcing a smile, and his conscious muscle control, trying to keep a straight face, creates a highly expressive, twitchy expression that betrays his inner delight. The name pronunciation softening. This is a linguistic glitch that occurs on a deeply subconscious level. When we speak to someone we are highly attracted to, our vocal tract and facial muscles subtly relax to project warmth and intimacy. When he says your name, you will notice a distinct glitch in his usual speaking rhythm and pronunciation. His tone will drop slightly, his articulation will slow down, and he will soften the hard consonants of your name, making it sound more breathy, gentle, and drawn out than the rest of his vocabulary. He might stumble slightly before saying it, as if his brain is treating your name with a level of care and reverence that it doesn't apply to any other word. This involuntary shift in delivery is a clear vocal signature of deep, burgeoning affection.